Namato Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So today is Friday, the 26th of June, almost end of June now, 2020. This is a live broadcast from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I am here with you on the night today. So it's another Friday approached, and we are still working with the barns and people posting about Liverpool and happy days for the Liverpool, and we also have some supporters for the Liverpool too. I used to play football when I was young, before becoming a monk, and I also played football in the college, and I was also almost chosen to play in the national leagues. I remember I went to play in a bigger stadium, and it was once in a lifetime probably for me, playing in a big stadium with thousands of people watching. That was a football. And once I became a novice and come into this world, so football is gone. So Colin is excited. Right, so today I thought that I will just go along with the flow. Particularly, today is another beautiful day, and after this probably there is no other days that we will have about 26 degrees of the weather in Scotland. And thank you for those feedbacks and questions. I was asked few topics to speak on. I think about a week ago, David asked me to talk on the nimittas and how the nimitta works. And then there was a question from my friend, my classmate, school friend, Suresh, asked me to explain a little bit on the Buddhism and Buddhist politics. In relation to the current governments and how they are dealing and how much they are corrupted. I'm not sure whether this is a good topic to speak. So maybe we'll see as the ways, as days goes by, and looking at the right time. When I was in the University of Aberdeen, there was a topic on the so-called charismatic leadership, and we did study about how the society move on, and how the society took over the power. So we studied from the time when the Karl Marx introduced communism, communist ideas, and how this move on. So we'll touch on this in a Buddhist point of view later on. And there was also a request on life of the Buddha. So I'm not sure whether the question is directed to me to speak on the life of the Buddha, or it's in a scriptural way, or analytical way, or a historical way. So I just need to figure it out which way that was question pointed at. Because when we talk about the life of the Buddha, from the scripture it is clear that he was a spiritual teacher, but he wasn't a teacher. He wasn't as a messenger or a son of the God or the God himself, but he simply pointed at himself as a teacher who guide, or the pathfinder, or one who writes the map or points the map. Says Akhataro Tathagata, one who pointed the path. And in terms of the historical sites, again, there are plenty of places historically proven as the places of the Buddha went and stayed, related to the Buddha's life. And there's archaeological evidence, and as well as some diaries made by the travelers, which again, on the basis of that diary, the Chinese travelers made these records. The early 18th century, the British, those who were governing in the colonial time in India, and excavated and found those historical sites. So anyway, so this is these are questions, and there's one more question was on the life of being a monk in the West and how we adjust. So I think this one I have mentioned in my book, two books actually. One is the Kalyana Metta. This is stories that I come across. I mention about it quite a few places, and also question and answer book that we published. In that book also there are a few questions and answers that I related on the monk's life in the West, and then how monks living and what are the responsibilities of the monks. And I think I mentioned that monks' life seems looking at the simple, and looking very simple, comfortable, nothing to do, but the responsibilities are quite a lot. Responsibilities in terms of self-development, self-studies, and and also self-practice, and as well as responsibilities towards the community. And the responsibilities towards the community, again, regarded as one of the very important duties. So these are the some of the questions that I come across, these posts that I read, and thank you for the feedbacks that people have sent to me, saying some of them are finding very helpful and making their ways understanding the teachings and the practice of a meditation. So that's also quite encouraging words that encourages me to go on. And other times again I feel like I've been talking and giving a talk so many at the moment, so over 3 months time every day, and sometimes I feel like, is it too much to the people for this, the different talks? Even some people say that I'm becoming a talkative. So and with that sometimes make me feel like I don't want to talk. I want to just be myself and stop giving talks. But having read the feedbacks and comments makes me feel like, there are some people who is getting benefit from these talks, and thought, okay, right, in that case, although people are listening maybe 20 or 30 or maybe the full length of the talks, probably only 5% of the listeners are listening, but within this 5%, even 1 or 2 person are getting benefit from the talk, then I would say it is worthwhile. it's quite worthwhile to give a talk, at least reflecting and giving some opportunities those who do not have time or cannot come to the center and practice. So it's a matter of who will take opportunity and develop their understanding and practice. There are some who will see the benefit and opportunity, but they will not take that opportunity and develop. Like the Buddha said in the Dhammapada, one of the stanzas, this gathas, says that some people will be like the spoon. Although spoon is steering to make the delicious soup, but spoon doesn't taste. So that means, despite of having an opportunity to learn and having an association with the learned ones or the monks or having a temple, and yet not practicing or not studying and practicing, then will not test the soup. So we should take these opportunities and test the real soup, the test of the soup. That basically whatever you have heard, whatever you have listened, the guidance, you should take it into practice and the test the Dhamma. And do not think that after practicing sometimes you will be enlightened. If you can be enlightened, then go ahead, good, appreciate, and I rejoice. But at least if you are practicing, then it needs to change your behavior, your attitude, your the way you think. So it's called ABCD. A here means the changing the attitude towards yourself, attitude towards other people, and that's why I call Buddhism as the way to change our perception, change our attitude towards towards the positivity and understanding things as they truly are. And as long as you cannot change your attitude and still holding on to the previous attitudes, still previous habits, behaviors are there, then doesn't matter how long you have been practicing Buddhism, doesn't matter how long you've been associating with the monks, it doesn't matter how long you've been to the temples, then you still hasn't tested the test of the soup. So you simply become the spoon which doesn't test this soup. So that's the first thing. And the second, after we have changed our attitude towards own self, towards own life, and towards other people and other people's life, what we need to know that whether our behavior changed or not. So the B stands for the behavior. So our behavior needs to be changed too. And the behavior changing here, if we have a bad behaviors and unwholesome behaviors that we had in the past, then we need to change it. And this changing behavior, again, we are not changing deliberately to show off that I am a Buddhist, so I am doing this and that. The very moment when you are holding this concept of I am Buddhist, or I am practicing meditation, or I am learning this Buddhism, so that's how I become a good person, then that is a pretending good person. So pretending good person is not regarded as you have changed your behavior. Changing behavior, it's not you see it, but the people around you will observe, and people around you see the changes in you, and that is the real change in the behavior. So in this way, what we have to be mindful that whether have I changed my behavior or not. Have I changed behavior, the bad behavior, to the good behaviors? And let's say if if you are not practicing 5 precepts at least, then can you practice that and see that how much you have changed? and then sometimes you've been very stubborn, or sometimes you've been very like say unkind. Are you able to ease of it? So there is a saying that diminish it, eradicate is abandon and eradication. So the 3 stages of doing it. So diminish, whether your bad behaviors diminished or not, and are you able to abandon some of the old habits or not? And then the last one is able to uproot, taking it away, eliminating entirely from your mind and heart, and that's how a behavior will change. And from the scientific point of view, if you are doing for 21 days regularly with your good intention, then your behavior will change. And the changing of a behavior again based on your attitude. So that's why first we have to change the attitude, and behavior will change. And when behavior changes, and if that behavior continues to be in a good state, then that's become a character. So that stands for the C, the character. And when it's become a character, that people can see you, people can notice the changes in you, and that's how you become an example for other people to follow. Not because you are teaching, not because you are guiding, not because you are telling them off, but because your character is that so. Your character is so calm, so peace, so kind, helping mind, helping nature, and that's come under our motto, helping hands, healing heart. And that's how the people will learn. One of the I think I have mentioned about it previous talks, one of the previous talks, that when Ajahn Chah was asked, he wasn't able to speak English language, but he had a plenty of followers, English followers. And when he was interviewed and asked that you don't speak English, how did you have so many foreign students? And the simple answer was that you never speak. He was a farmer. So the one who questioned was a farmer, and the Luang Por Chah simply answered that, did you speak with a buffalo when you ask him to work? So that's basically doing it. So that's how it's become a character, and that's how you're guiding them to follow. When you become example, then you don't have to tell them to follow. So it's not becoming a Buddhist, but it's changing your behavior and changing your character. And again, to develop something is good. It's easy. To build something is easy. Like, let's say, changing behavior for some times to please someone is easy. And then even the character, just to please someone or to get something out of it, it's easy. To maintain it, maintain a good nature, good vibes, good manners, good behaviors are not easy. So that's why we have to have a discipline. So that D stands for the discipline. So ABCD, and here discipline is ability to work, and be disciplined with yourself. And once you are disciplined in the things or the tasks that you are supposed to take responsibility, and then that's how you will be well respected. Otherwise, you can be a fake good, you can be a fake nice, you can be a fake kind. That's why there are sayings going on saying that someone will smile at you only to gain something in return, and that is the fake one. And that's how discipline is very important. So maintenance is the important part here. Maintaining that goodness is not easy. Let's say, like, you can buy a house. Buying a house, it's a lot of preparation and a lot of savings. But once you have bought it, maintaining this house in a in a same level is not easy. So it needs a discipline of working, discipline of going to earn, and discipline of separating for the house management, and only then you will be able to keep the house in a good condition, and it's welcoming to all. Everyone will see it, that oh, this is a nice place to stay, nice place to go. And that's the same with our minds and our heart and behaviors too. So we need to be disciplined. Otherwise, people will take you as just a fake one. You will not you will not get the belief or the faith or confidence, and you will not be able to lead anyone, or you will not be able to find the so-called success in the life, because you don't have a discipline. And once you have a discipline, what happens is that you have a firm a decision or direction, that which direction you're going to go, and with that direction you will be spending, or you will be working hard on that with undivided attention. There is 100% effort being applied urgently, and this 100% effort being applied to that only then will take us into the halfway to the success. And even this time we also need very careful mindfulness and awareness, and always checking around and these things. So this ABCD, I would summarize that once we have learned the Buddhism or any meditation, we have to change the attitude, and that's changing attitude will takes the whole way towards the success. And that's how this is known as the Samma Ditti, one of the first noble path in the Eightfold Noble Path. So that is the Samma Ditti, or the right attitude. And here it's not just the right attitude, actually this is having a right understanding as well. So right understanding, or having a right understanding about your life, about yourself, about other people, about the things as they truly are. So very moment when you have this right attitude and the right understanding of yourself, then everything will fixed. And here, right understanding about yourself, and how do we know? How do you understand yourself? And this is, I think, those who are coming to the center for the meditation may familiar with the story. Who are you? This is my famous story of finding, understanding who you really are, and that is, I think, so I will just tell you in a brief that there was a interview when this TV broadcast was going to find out some unusual sights, and they found two monks are walking in the garden, and they thought, oh, this is wonderful for the New Yorkers. So they went and interviewed to the monk and asked, who are you? We want to ask you one important question, that is, what is the most important things to know in the world? And the monk say, who are you? So this interviewer thought that this monk doesn't understand what he meant, so he repeated for 3 times, and at the third this monk simply said, you're a fool, I have answered twice already that most important things to know in the world is who you really are. So who you really are is the question, is the misery and a mystery for you. But if you've been following or you've been coming to the center for the meditation, you already have the answer for this question: who is the most important things to know in the world? What is the most important things in the world? So that is you. And the right understanding about yourself, or our own self, is basically understanding that this is mind and a body, And this mind and a body, this body doesn't feel, this body is not belongs to us, and this body will grow, and at the end it has to go away. This is a natural law. And whereas the mind, it continues until it hasn't got anything that conditions to arise. As long as it's conditioned, it will arise continuously, life after life after life after another, until we have able to eradicate all the conditions that continues this mind, and will attain the supreme bliss, the nibbana. So that is the right understanding of first right attitude, and then a right understanding, and that's how we will attain the right path and to the liberation. So this is for tonight's talk, from as it comes and as it flows. So that's how I came up in the end of being ABCD, learning to be no ABCD for the night. And I wish you all the best. In a few minutes time we will have a chanting and guided meditation, so you're most welcome to join. Otherwise, see you tomorrow for the talk at 6:30. Until then, thank you, and may the Buddha bless you. Sadhu.